Do you feel imposter syndrome? Do you look at yourself in a negative way, thinking I should be doing this and people think I am? Do you look at yourself and look at others and judge? Well, if that's the case, then this video is for you today. So carry on watching. Hi guys, this is just a chat that I wanted to have in the witchy community. We tend to judge ourselves on a daily basis, and what we put out, people only see that, and so we look at that and say to ourselves, am I a fake? Do people get what they're really thinking they're getting? Start to analyse your lives. Are you doing the right things? Are you doing what you're preaching? Are you actually living your witchy life? And that festers in the mind and the heart. And some people, it's too much for them. Why is that? Is it because they feel that other people are the true people, the true witches, the ones that are exactly how they portray themselves? Or is it the fact that they know that there's something they need to change? There's something in their lives they need to change to make themselves feel better about what they're putting out. We tend to have these rules, unmade rules of witchdom, that tells us that we are supposed to be these people that are doing so much every day that's spiritual. But if we did that, guys, we wouldn't have a normal life at all. You see, at the end of the day, we have to balance it. And if that means you're busy with work and things one day, so you don't manage to get up at the crack of dawn and do the sacred breaths, you don't manage to do your devotions every day, that you don't manage to do your magical spells or your healings for people, or just being meditative. I mean, a lot of people will tell you, oh my goodness, I can't remember the last time I meditated. In fact, I don't really enjoy meditating. We will see that as imposter. We are imposters. We are not imposters. We are human with faults, and we cannot be perfect. The reason we feel like this, guys, is because, for example, my channel is all about teaching people how to do things. And so they will look at that and think, wow, this person is so spiritual. This person is obviously doing this all the time. No, not every single day. Not every moment of my existence. Yes, I have my psychic abilities, and that is always honed in. You can't change that. But when it comes to practice, I have to work out when I can do things, how long for, and what the benefit of it is going to be, because I wouldn't be able to do it all. I couldn't be sat on a stool with a meditative mind 24/7. It's impossible. But when you look at other creators and you see what they're doing, and they put it out there that that's exactly what they're doing, it's unattainable. And people that are just coming into the craft will look at that as a goal to reach. Now, I'm not saying I'm not a spiritual person, because yes, I am. I tend to put the magical before the mundane, but I still have to live the mundane. I still have to do the everyday things. And so when you start to feel the imposter syndrome, which is what a lot of people call it, it's actually you turning on yourself. You are finding all the faults. You are looking at the negatives. You're not looking at what you've achieved and what you help others with and what you do daily. They do not see what you're doing, but you feel that you're in a goldfish bowl, that people are judging you. And I know this is how a lot of people feel. So I'm here today to give you some tips on what you should do to really think about these things and get some perspective on it, and to not be so hard on yourselves. Now, tip number 1, think about what you're thinking about. I know that sounds strange. What are we thinking about? So we go on YouTube and we're looking at other channels to do with the same subject as us, the witchcraft. And you look at some and you think, oh, well, I feel better than that one, because that one's only just starting and doesn't know what they're talking about. But then you go on one that's really good and you look at it and think, well, they make me look silly. So why should I bother? What have I got to offer? Who's going to want to look at mine after seeing something like this? We don't analyse how and where they've got to, because we're not interested in that. We're only interested in how we feel. That person has had to work for this. A lot of energy and time has gone into it. So as soon as a detrimental thought comes into your mind, you have to snip it at the bud and think about why you're thinking that. Number 2 is think about your own circumstances. You all have your own lives, and some people have difficulties with, for example, mobility, maybe ill health, maybe they haven't got a lot of time through jobs or through circumstances or finances. When I look at videos that other people have done where they're wandering through the beautiful woods or they're out in nature, it hits a raw nerve. And so I look at my videos thinking how boring they must come across to other people, because they're always being filmed in the same area. So I went through a stage of buying backdrops to try and change my circumstances, to try and put up this make-believe place that Tuva's living in a beautiful mansion with a lovely fireplace. No. And this is what I mean. You have to look at your circumstances and be real with yourself, and it will happen over time. Don't look at what other people have got, because they might have other issues that you don't know about. Everybody gets this imposter syndrome, getting to the point where the enthusiasm starts to dull down. But you hear on YouTube how people saying, well, it's all about enthusiasm, it's all about wanting to do it. I've got to tell you, do you enjoy it if you go to work constantly, but you're doing a job and you don't get up thinking, oh my goodness, I'm so enthusiastic, I can't wait to get there? No. It's the same with YouTube. You can have that enthusiasm, but you're going to have times where you don't feel enthusiastic, but you've got to put it across like you're feeling that way. And that's where, again, the imposter syndrome pokes its ugly head, because then you feel that you haven't given of yourself in the right way, and so you hate that video straight away because you know how you were feeling when you did it. Guys, get real. Be real with yourselves. We're human, and so we have good days and bad days. What I would say is, you are doing a wonderful thing. You are putting yourself out there and giving of yourself all the time. It's all about becoming as positive as you can. So one of the tips I would like to give you is what I do when I'm feeling drained and fed up and, just feel like, why are you doing it? Because what have you got to give when there's thousands of channels out there that are doing the same thing. Well, I write down what my channel gives to people, what I actually give, and what would I be doing if I wasn't doing that? It's a good point, because you would miss it. You would miss it, because obviously something made you want to do it in the first place. Was it for fame? Was it for fortune? Or was it because you really wanted to put out what it is you understand and have knowledge about? Is it a sort of leaving something behind? For me, it was all about teaching. It was all about giving knowledge to those that can't get groups. And when I first started in 2009, it was early days. I mean, I think it had been going a couple years before that. I'm not quite sure when we got it here in the UK, but I know it was a newish thing when I was starting. And it wasn't like it is now. It was just put a video up and nobody was like, oh, I'm so professional. So nowadays it's totally different. It's a platform of real creators. And so you automatically, mentally compartmentalize yourself. There's still people, there's still subscribers, and they're still liking your content. So be grateful for what you have. Don't belittle yourself, because at the end of the day, you do have a lot to offer. So write down your pros and cons. Write down the things that you feel you can change. If you think you need to be doing more spiritual stuff behind the scenes, then do so. Make more time for meditating or doing spells or learning more towards your particular field of experience. Sometimes in the winter, I will spend time studying on other things. Not because I'm perfect and so spiritual, but because I push myself, but I have to have that longing to do it. Never force yourself into something that you can't do, because you'll get bored and you won't want to do it, and it is just a waste of time. And when I get imposter syndrome, I say to myself now, stop it. You are you and they are they. Yeah? You're watching them and analysing what they're doing, whereas you should just be watching their videos because of the sheer enjoyment value of watching somebody else. There are people out there that felt you were so good they wanted to subscribe and like and comment. So if you was an imposter, would they do that? No, because imposters, real imposters, show their true colours. I've heard so many people going on about imposter syndrome that I felt it might be a good subject to put up here for you, to talk a little bit of sense into you all, but not only that, give you some tips. I hope it's helped you in some way. Get yourself focused and don't listen to others. Don't listen to your deep inner thoughts. Try to be positive. Look at your practice before you judge yourself. Honestly, guys, imposter syndrome, it's silly. At the end of the day, we shouldn't be thinking those things about ourselves. If we expect other people to be saying nice things to us, then how much more should we say nice things to ourselves? Not pull ourselves down. Try to get past those feelings, guys. You are worthy. You have got your gift that you're giving out on YouTube all the time, and you are wanted. If you disappeared off the internet, people would wonder where you went. They would miss you. And that's what I want to get across. Do not think you're imposters. An imposter is somebody that pretends they're, say, a witch, that wouldn't know anything about the subject they're talking about. So you obviously are not an imposter because you know what you're talking about. You know through experience, through what you've done. So just because you're not doing everything daily, maybe having a bad week here and there where you know you should have done such and such but you haven't, doesn't make you a fake, doesn't make you an imposter. It makes you a human being, one that has to juggle life and the YouTube. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. I hope this has helped some of you out there. I hope it hasn't turned into a rant. I wanted to sort of help people to come to terms with this silly term, which seems to be doing the rounds on YouTube, that a lot of people are feeling this imposter syndrome. So I hope you're all well. Thank you to my new subscribers, and thank you to those that are always here, always watching. I really do appreciate you guys. If you're watching my content and you haven't subscribed or pressed the like button or anything like that, please think about it, because it will help this channel to grow and get to more people. And you also won't miss anything I'm putting up because you'll be notified. I'm going to leave it now, so wherever you are, whatever time of day, night or evening it may be, I wish you the best ever. House of Valang.